Update 1.0.6 for Assassin's Creed Shadows has released yesterday and has brought a whole new questline, a new ally and rewards, a lot of new gameplay features including the new Nightmare difficulty setting, some quality of life additions and more. So considering all that good stuff, we figured having a dedicated video for this update because there's so much to talk about. So let's not wait any longer and let's dive into the new additions to Assassin's Creed Shadows. So let's start with the main event here, which is of course the second collaboration appearing in the post-launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows. This time, as you might know, it's a collab with Critical Role, and it's bringing a new questline, a new ally called Rufino, voiced by Robbie Daymond from Critical Role, a new reward, and a new achievement to the game. As for the questline, it's called A Critical Encounter, of course, and it's centered around our new Portuguese ally, Rufino, who is an old friend of Tomiko and Heiji from our hideout, as he had known them before the events of the game, when the hideout was just a farmstead and Heiji was just a kid. Using the words of the patch notes, Rufino will call in a life debt after uncovering a conspiracy that involves codes that he himself would decode, then a secret organization that we might be quite familiar with and that I'm happy to see partaking in the post-launch too, and some killers hired to eliminate a number of influential commoners. As for the rewards coming from this collaboration, first and foremost we're going to get our new ally, Rufino, who wields a flintlock pistol and a sword, and in terms of perks is very much oriented towards bleed attacks, with both his sword and his gun, which is a nice setup if your weapons are also oriented towards the bleed status. Rufino as an ally won't be the only reward here though, because completing the questline would also get you a banner for your hideout with a Critical Role logo and also a new trophy/achievement, and for those who might be interested, there will also be a Critical Role weapon pack in the game store with weapons inspired by the Critical Role universe, so if you're interested in those, you know where to find them. Speaking of store packs, along with the update, it looks like two more packs are going to be added to the store. The Kintsugi pack, which is centered around the Kintsugi art of repairing objects with gold, like Naoe's Tsuchibue, and the Dragon pack that is mostly focused on the hideout, and I gotta say, they're diabolical with adding puppies through the store packs. They are so tempting. But yeah, with these two more packs added to the store, I think we are at a fair amount of different items on the store, so now it's going to be interesting to see the drop rates in the exchange store and see if the system has actually improved from the past games of the franchise. The other main release with this update is the new Nightmare difficulty setting, one of the most requested features that finally lands on Shadows, and that affects both combat and stealth independently based on your preference. As for combat, enemies are going to deal way more damage with every successful attack. The windows both for normal dodges and parries and also perfect dodges and parries have been reduced, and these will also not put enemies in the vulnerable state anymore, and also parrying unstoppable attacks will most likely kill you immediately, so you have to be very wary about those for sure. Speaking of dodges and parries, archers now also shoot way more arrows, and the arrows themselves are also faster, so we need to time out our dodges and parries even better. One of the elements that I didn't expect but I really enjoyed seeing is that now enemies will attack via proximity, meaning that they are going to attack even if you are engaging somebody else, which makes combat way more realistic. And that's not all, because the devs have thought of more elements to put the player at a disadvantage, such as slowing down adrenaline regeneration, increasing the ability's cooldowns, and also causing Ronin, warrior monks, shinobis, and brute type enemies to dodge or counter every ability unless they are staggered first, so players really need to strategize about when to use their abilities. As for stealth, there's an equal if not bigger set of additions and constraints to make the system tougher and more interesting. Naoe's assassination damage is going to be reduced from 2 to 1 life chunks, meaning players will have to focus way more on the perks of their items, and players won't be able to bypass this with guaranteed assassination because it won't be available with Nightmare difficulty. Kunais will also not be retrievable after a kill anymore, and the throw out kunai after an assassination perk will also consume kunais, so it will not work if you have 0 kunais, making it even more realistic. And on the topic of tools, the tool crates and ration crates will provide smaller refills compared to the other difficulty settings, so you have to really keep track of your ammo too. But the most interesting elements are those that surround the topic of detection. For starters, detection has been made much faster and it's easier to trigger too, not just cause being close to the guards now results into an instant detection, but also because air assassinations and sprint assassinations make much more noise. Moving fast while crouched also generates noise now, and even vanishing in shadows only works when standing still, while moving while being in the shadows will still get you detected, so you really need to plan your approach carefully this time. But the new additions to Nightmare on Stealth are not over, because the team also tweaked things on the enemy side, with enemies entering a searching state way more frequently, for example noticing projectiles flying, the alarm bell falling, hearing you whistling, etc. And when they do search for you, they are now moving in pairs, 3 pairs to be exact, so it will be tougher to eliminate them without being spotted. Also, once the enemies are wary because something tipped them off, they are now entering the so-called defensive stance, meaning that they will be much more difficult to assassinate. The team also made sure to mention that the difficulty settings for Expert have also been bumped up, so in case Nightmare is too tough, the new version of Expert could also cater to fans and hit the perfect spot. As already announced, Update 1.0.6 finally brought another requested feature, that is the chance to show Naoe's and Yasuke's headgear during cutscenes and specifically dialogue scenes. Players will be able to toggle this in the in-game settings, although the devs mentioned that the headgear is not going to be displayed during cinematics and also in specific instances like Roman-specific cutscenes. Update 1.0.6 is also adding the chance to enable or disable specific visual effects to customize the player's experience. So now if you want to make it more immersive and less gamey, you can go in the interface option menu and toggle off the visuals for the input for loot on dead bodies, the last known position mechanic, the unstoppable and flurry attacks visuals, the vulnerable state, the black and white visuals for the abilities, the sepia tint for the targets killed, and also the effects for vanishing in stealth. As it was announced already, the regional alert system has also been extended. So before the update, if you were spotted and committed illegal actions within castle, the regional alert system would have made it so that the character you were using would have been wanted within the region and the guardian enemies would have hunted you, especially within castles. Now, by attacking civilians or soldiers even outside the castles, the alarm can be triggered, prompting guardians to also hunt you down in the open world. The update is also bringing some new horse camera presets, 3 to be precise, which will allow for a more cinematic experience, especially now that auto ride is also part of the game. And finally, another addition that I did not expect to see is the addition of a new visual quality level, the ultra low mode. That is a new configuration that the devs have added to allow players with limited GPUs to still enjoy the game with better frame rate options, which is honestly a very nice gesture considering the requirements that games like this sometimes tend to have. And that, along with a whole list of bug fixes and multi-selecting shops and vendors being brought back to the game, that was it for our summary of the content of Update 1.0.6 for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Or is it? Has this always been in there, or is it finally time for the Animus content that was stated to be expected this summer?
You can expect more Animus content to come this summer.
Anyway, Update 1.0.6 has been one of the biggest, if not the biggest update for the game yet, that has elements for everybody, from story to gameplay, from visual toggles to difficulty settings and more, that can indeed surprise both long-time and casual players. But if you'd like to know even more about the upcoming updates that are planned for Shadows, you can check our dedicated breakdown that you can see on screen right now. Thank you for watching, a huge thanks to all of our ATA insiders and initiates for their amazing support, and for the few of you still asking, I'm still working on our story analysis. It's been 3 months, I know, but I haven't forgotten about them. Soon they will be out. Before GTA 6, I promise. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in our next video.